By the time I was 10 or 12, I just wished to God I was white, because they had food to eat, they didn't work, they had money, they had nice homes, and we would nearly freeze. We never did have food. We worked all the time and didn't have nothing.
Mama, I'm cold and I'm hungry. I know, I am too, but we have to stick together. How come white people are always happy? Only God knows, Fannie Lou. Why can't you and Papa just quit sharecropping? Ain't nobody got time for that. Besides, a little work is good for the long run. But I'm tired. I'm tired of your complaining. Let's go eat. What's for lunch? What else? We be eating pig feet and boar heads. I miss school. It will be okay, I promise. Race you to the supper table.
In the early 1900s, African Americans were segregated from light-skinned people. Fannie Lou Hamer was sick and tired of being mistreated on a sharecropper's farm. She broke barriers by founding organizations and protesting against inequality between races. Hamer encourages others to stand up for their rights. Although Fannie Lou Hamer is not recognized by many people, her actions have left a significant legacy behind. Background information. She was born on October 6, 1917, in Montgomery, Mississippi, and died on March 14, 1977, in Mount Bayo, Mississippi. Her parents, Ella and James Lee Townsend, were sharecroppers, introducing the job to their 20 children. Fannie Lou Townsend married Perry Hamer at the age of 27, and they adopted 2 children. Fannie Lou began working in the cotton fields at age of 6. Even as a child, Fannie Lou wished she was white. They had food and clothes, while blacks worked for hours and could not afford the luxuries that whites had. School. School was only open from March through December. Those were the months where children did not have to work in the cotton fields. Although Black history was not included in the curriculum, Fannie Lou still enjoyed school. She was forced to drop out when she was in 6th grade to work as a full-time sharecropper to help support her family. Marriage and children. Fannie Lou Townsend married Perry "Pap" Hamer at the age of 27 and became Fannie Lou Hamer. She worked with her husband on the Marlowe plantation. They picked cotton, canned produce, and shot animals for food. The couple adopted 2 children in 1954. Fannie Lou was elated to have children. However, in 1961, a doctor told her that she needed to remove a tumor. When she awoke from the surgery to remove the tumor, she found out that the doctor had removed certain parts of her body without her consent. Due to this, she would never be able to have children of her own. The doctor did this because of a law passed in Mississippi that stated that poor people did not need to have babies. Fannie Lou was devastated. From that point on, she wanted to stand up for her rights as a human and protest against inequality between races. After marriage. After she got married, Hamer started looking into African American voting rights. She got involved with the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. The committee encouraged African Americans to register to vote. On August 31st, 1962, Hamer made the decision to travel back to Indianola with 17 other SNCC members to try to register to vote. After the members failed the literacy tests, they were forced to drive back to Louisville without voting. On the bus back home, the bus was stopped, and the African American driver was fined for $100. When the police were asked why they fined him, their response was, his bus was too yellow and similar to a school bus. However, the real reason was because they were African American. The police were looking for any excuse to show them that they would not be equal, and never would be. The passengers panicked, unsure if they would receive a consequence for traveling on the too yellow bus, especially since they were all African American. Through the chaos, Fannie Lou Hamer began singing a peaceful church song, which calmed everyone down. People have got to work together. I'm tired of the kind of oppression that white people have inflicted on us, and are still trying to inflict. Her singing reminded everyone that there is still hope. Although they were treated unfairly, they would overcome it. In June 1963, on their way back from training in South Carolina, Fannie Lou and 9 other activists from Mississippi's bus stopped at a rest stop in Winona. Thinking they were taking a bathroom break, June Johnson, Annelle Ponder, Euvester Simpson, Rosemary Freeman, and James West got off. They sat on a restaurant's white-only lunch counter and were greeted by police and highway patrolmen. The bus driver had called the police in advance to inform them about the all-black party traveling on the bus. From the window, Fannie Lou watched as they were getting arrested and bolted out of the bus to defend them. She was pushed, shoved, and kicked as officers put handcuffs on her. The group was taken to Winona Jail, where they faced horrors that were unbearable. The activists were put into separate cells. Fannie Lou was placed with 2 other African American prisoners, and they were forced to beat her with a blackjack. They took turns, beating her until their muscles were sore. Fannie Lou screamed in terror and pleaded with them. They felt no more mercy towards her. Some long-term effects of those beatings were she had permanent kidney damage and lost vision in one of her eyes. Andrew Young, a member of SCLC, bailed them out after 4 long and tiring days in jail. SNCC. Fannie Lou Hamer worked with the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. The organization first heard about Fannie Lou through her singing. They understood the meaning behind her songs and the purpose of her singing. SNCC respected her, paid careful attention to her arguments, and were astonished by her motivations and goals. Fannie Lou helped involve other members and tried to register them to vote. SNCC helped out and tried advertising for people to join the fight. Democratic Freedom Party. After Fannie Lou tried to register to vote in 1962, Marlowe told her to draw back her registration papers, else she would be fired from the plantation. Hamer tried to argue, and she was escorted out of the building. When she went home, her house was shot 16 times by white men. Fortunately, nobody was injured. Fannie Lou knew she needed to take her problem one step further and find a solution. She founded the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party to try to get all blacks to register to vote legally, just as white people do. The organization allowed African Americans to have a voice. One day, at a meeting, everyone in Mississippi turned on their TV to find Fannie Lou Hamer and her testimony. She shared her brutal experiences, and her testimony was replayed on television for days.
Mr. Chairman, and to the Credentials Committee, it was the 31st of August in 1962 that 18 of us traveled 26 miles to the county courthouse in Indianola to try to register to become first-class citizens.
Breaking barriers. A year after sharing her testimony, President Lyndon B. Johnson signed the Voting Acts Right of 1965. It got rid of all things blocking African Americans from voting, like poll taxes, grandfather clauses, and literacy tests. After Voting Rights Act, Hamer founded another organization called Freedom Farm that helps African Americans get out of poverty the way she did. She was buried there. Death. Hamer died ascribable to high blood pressure. She died in the Taborian Hospital in Mount Bayo, Mississippi. She was almost 60 years old by the time she passed. However, her legacy still lives on today.